So it looked like Caitlin Clark is being blamed for the epic fail for the WNBA.
Adam Silver just nuked the WNBA Players Union, and somehow they're blaming Caitlin Clark for it. Let that sink in for a second. The NBA commissioner literally told teams to ignore the expired labor agreement and move forward with free agency anyway. That's the equivalent of a judge saying the rules don't matter anymore, we're doing this my way. And the reason he had to step in? Because WNBA players are so busy scapegoating the one person who saved their league that they forgot how to negotiate. This is insanity at a level I didn't think was possible. But
players pretty much hate Caitlin Clark with a passion, and I'm here to tell you right now, the hate is growing even stronger because many people in the Players Association and people in the media is blaming Caitlin Clark for potentially being the one holding out when it comes to...
Here we are. The league that went from nobody watching to a $2.2 billion media deal is now eating itself alive. And the woman who made that happen? She's public enemy number one. Not the negotiators who fumbled the bag, not the union leaders running competing leagues on the side. Caitlin Clark, the rookie who put butts in seats and eyeballs on screens. She's the problem, apparently. Let me paint you the full picture of this dumpster fire. The WNBA collective bargaining agreement expired. No new deal. Negotiations completely collapsed. Players want massive revenue sharing based on the Clark effect season. Owners are looking at the numbers saying, hold up, was that sustainable or was that just one generational talent creating a temporary spike? Valid question, by the way. So what does Adam Silver do? He tells every WNBA team, you
fired, and this whole thing is backfiring on these players to the point where they couldn't even get a response from the owners. The owners are saying, let's move on free agency. They're trying to stop people from signing. It is a mess.
You can start making free agency offers right now using the old expired contract terms. No union approval needed, no new agreement required. Just go ahead and operate under status quo labor law provisions. That's not a negotiating tactic. That's a power move. That's Silver saying, I'm done watching you people fumble the best opportunity this league has ever had. And what's the response from some players and media? Caitlin Clark ruined everything. I'm sorry, what? The woman who dragged the WNBA out of cable access obscurity and into primetime is somehow responsible for union leadership being incompetent at their jobs? Make it make sense. Because from where I'm sitting, this is the most transparent deflection I've seen in professional sports. Here's what actually happened. Clark shows up as a rookie. Instant sensation. Her college games were drawing better ratings than NBA playoff games. Not exaggerating. Look it up. So everyone knew she was coming in hot. First game of the season, record viewership. Her jersey, best-selling in league history within weeks.
No. I feel like there has been a major disconnect between the commissioner and the players for a long time. And then if you have a star like Fee coming out and saying it, you know that it's really an issue. So I'm glad she did it, and we all supported her in it. We didn't know she was gonna do that. That was like
some gangster shit.
Yeah, I loved it. Again.
But where has it gotten you now? What benefit has it done? Kathy Engelbert is not fired. You guys are not getting this 30% rev share and a $10.5 million salary cap. What benefit has all this mess brought to you guys? You don't have a deal. You're still under contract for next year. What benefit has this actually brought the players? That's what I'm interested to know.
Now, as it was in 2024. In the summer of 2025, did First Take talk about any women's basketball? They talked about any of these sports shows. They talked about the first injuries for Caitlin Clark in. They talked about Caitlin Clark against Liberty.
Arenas that used to be half empty with free tickets scattered around town sold out everywhere the Fever played. And I mean everywhere. ESPN suddenly cares about women's basketball. Not in a we'll show highlights if we have time way, in a let's dedicate actual coverage and analysis way. Sponsors who wouldn't return the WNBA's calls are now lining up throwing money at the league. All of this created the financial context that makes current negotiations even possible. Without Clark, we're talking about the WNBA asking for a 5% increase in meal money. With Clark, we're talking about revenue sharing models and massive salary cap increases. She created that leverage. Her. Not the union, not veteran players, not brilliant marketing. Caitlin Clark walking onto WNBA courts. But sure, let's blame her for negotiations failing. That's definitely logical. The really wild part is how obvious the jealousy has been from day one. Physical play that crossed every line. Flagrant fouls that should have gotten players suspended. Veterans making snide comments about preferential treatment while simultaneously complaining that she makes too much money. You can't have it both ways. You can't say she's getting special treatment and also say she doesn't deserve her salary. Pick a lane. Actually, you know what? Don't pick a lane. Just admit you're mad that a rookie came in and made you all look irrelevant by comparison. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. These are grown women who spent months treating Clark like an enemy on the court, and now they're shocked that negotiations are falling apart, and maybe, just maybe, her presence exposed how fragile the whole operation really was. Let me explain something about leverage that apparently needs explaining. Players thought they had all the power because viewership went up and revenue increased. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That leverage evaporates the second Clark decides she's done with this circus. If she goes to Europe, where they'll pay her more and treat her better, what happens to those ratings? If she walks away from basketball entirely and just cashes endorsement checks, what happens to that $2.2 billion media deal when networks realize nobody's watching anymore? I'll tell you what happens. It collapses immediately. Because casual fans didn't show up for the WNBA, they showed up for Caitlin Clark. Die-hard women's basketball fans can be mad about that all they want, but it's reality. Adam Silver knows this, the owners know this, apparently the players' union doesn't know this. Or they're pretending not to know it because acknowledging it would mean admitting their bargaining position is built entirely on one person's star power. Now let's talk about Nafisa Collier for a second. She's the WNBPA vice president. She's supposed to be representing player interests at the negotiating table. You know what else she's doing? Running unrivaled a 3-on-3 basketball league. Let me repeat that. The union vice president is actively promoting and operating a league that competes with the WNBA for attention and resources. Then she goes on television and calls WNBA leadership the worst in professional sports while promoting her competing league. Then her league posts ratings so catastrophic they make G League games look like the Super Bowl. And now she's back at the negotiating table trying to present herself as a reasonable voice for players. How is anyone supposed to take this seriously? How can ownership negotiate in good faith with union leadership that has massive conflicts of interest? How can players trust representation when their leaders benefit financially if the WNBA struggles? The whole thing is compromised from the start, and somehow Caitlin Clark, who has nothing to do with any of this, is the scapegoat. Clark hasn't made public demands, she hasn't threatened to sit out, she hasn't gone on podcasts trashing league management or union leadership. She's kept her mouth shut and stayed professional while chaos erupts around her. Compare that to union leadership attacking the league on TV while promoting competing products. The contrast couldn't be more stark. But sure, Clark is the problem. Silver telling teams to proceed with free agency is him calling the union's bluff. He's saying the league is not self-destructing because union leadership can't negotiate competently. They're moving forward. Players can participate under existing terms or sit out and watch their earning potential evaporate. But the league itself continues operating because the opportunity Clark created is too valuable to waste. Silver told WNBA teams to proceed with free agency while players blame Caitlin Clark for everything falling apart. The commissioner is done watching the league squander the opportunity their biggest star created through incompetent bargaining. This power struggle is just getting started, and Silver called the union's bluff. And it's about to get really messy, because when you blame the person who saved your league for all your problems, don't be surprised when she decides she's better off somewhere else. And when the ratings collapse and the money dries up and the casual fans disappear, remember who you scapegoated. Remember who you treated like the enemy when she was actually the only reason anyone cared in the first place. The WNBA is playing with fire, and they're about to find out what happens when you burn the bridge to your only lifeline.